All right, so just a little finish up on the chapter 2 notes here. So, yeah, I asked you guys to study the table on 2.3 on page 35 when we left last class. So, hopefully you had a chance to look at that. If you look at page 36 in your text, page 36, this tells us how individuals can influence society. So as we talk about our thought processes and attitudes and practices when we're talking about environmental science, how individuals can influence society is actually pretty important. So there's a few things that we will talk about here at the end of chapter 2. So the consumer, how can you be wise about the products you buy and their effects on the environment? So we did that ecological footprint lab that you guys all handed in here today. And I asked you to repeat the survey or repeat the lab after making some small changes to your, what changes could you do to live more efficiently or to have a smaller sort of carbon footprint. And some of the products that we choose to buy, how much we buy, that's a huge difference, can make a huge difference on our impact on the environment, right? So even just taking a look at the packaging and the stuff that we buy, reusable bags and that kind of thing. If they offer to put it in a bag for you, or if you want to print the receipt or email the receipt, maybe email it and not print it. I don't know. Little things like that. How many of something do you need right now? That kind of thing. The volunteer. Okay, how can you give up your time to make the world a better place? Have you ever thought about volunteering for a cause? Or volunteering your time to help out somewhere, pick up garbage, or to sort through things at school here even, to do the recycling at school. Have you thought about volunteering your time to make sure that that's an efficient process and that works out real well? Advocacy. Okay, so this is a little different than volunteering. Is there a cause that you can really commit to, really sink your teeth into, really dive deep into? Is there something that you're really passionate about that you want to see change in this school or in this city? What is it that you can advocate for? Different than volunteering. Advocating is sometimes it's starting your own thing too, or sometimes it's being a voice for someone or something that can't speak for themselves. And finally, the voter. When you're old enough to vote, what policies will you support? So it's important to think about your influence on government, right? It's not always the sharpest looking person that you're going to vote for, right? That shouldn't be your governing decision-making criteria. It should be, what do they stand for? What are they all about? How are things going to change if they do what they say they're going to do? What policies are important to you? All right. I want you also to look on page 46 and 42. Is that the right page? Yeah, 46 and 47. So there's a few pages of labs and summaries and questions, which we'll take a quick peek at here soon. But if you look at page 46 and 47, there's some little information on some careers. And remember that you're going to have to do a deep dive into some careers in environmental science. So just a heads up, we're going to be learning about careers later. So you might want to just read up on what you learn a few things here now. So what is an ecologist? What does an environmental lawyer do? What does an environmental documentary filmmaker do? What does an environmental fundraising coordinator do? These are some things that are highlighted on page 46 and 47 in your book. All right, these are the chapter 2 review questions that I'd like you to work through, so you'll get some time now to work through that. And again, this concludes our material. We do have this class here has a test coming up on chapters 1 and 2, so we're going to be preparing for that, but work on your questions here now. Do you guys have any questions for me? Mm-hmm. I'll let you know that in a second. Okay, so here's your again, notes from the first part of the chapter 2 notes started here. And if you have any questions for me, you can let me know. Okay.